Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to our farm. Today we are going to work on apples. Ellie and I went on a road trip the other day and I had found a decent deal on apples. It was a little bit of a drive, so I don't know if the fuel really kind of offset the deal. But I have 18 pounds of Macintosh apples in the house, and then I have 15 pounds of Macintosh here and 17 pounds of what he called sweet 16 in here, and he gave me a really better deal on the sweet 16s, but I'll show you why in a second. My plan is to dry some in our food dehydrator, make some into applesauce maybe, and then probably slice and freeze the rest for pies and crisps and stuff like that. It's actually Colton's birthday and he loves apple crisp, so that worked out really well for us. Okay, to make this easier, I used to have something similar, but I don't know if we got rid of it or if I just can't find it or what the deal is. But I do have an apple core peeler slicer. It's this thing. And you put your apple in here on these prongs, and then you twist the handle thing, and it cores it here, and it peels it with this thing. These doohickeys, I've almost like stabbed my hand several times because I try to get the core off and I pop myself on the like this part and then I pop back and it hits the prongs. So just be very careful if you get something like this. I can link this one. I found it on Amazon. It has the suction base here. I haven't used it yet. We just had like a tabletop one that it had a C-clamp, and I'm assuming they meant it for like a table or something, but it just had this little stand, so you had to hold the stand while rotating it and stuff. With this one and the way my kitchen is set up, it's gonna be hard for me to do a lot because like do a lot of volume because I'm right-handed and I'm gonna have to crank left-handed, and I just don't know how well that's gonna go for me. But that, like I said, it has a suction top cup for the base. I can link this down. I am not currently affiliated. If it changes, I'll update the link and note it. And it doesn't cost you any more anyway if I were. And then I have a cutting board here that does have grooves because this will get really juicy. It'll probably actually splatter on my cabinet. I have a bowl with some water. I'm going to put some lemon juice in there. I have a little paring knife to cut any bad spots. And then I have this bowl here for the apple scraps. We can throw those to the chickens. So like I said, the first thing we're gonna do is slice them for the dehydrator. I'll get the dehydrator filled. And then depending on how I feel, I should probably put some towards applesauce first to get that going, but I can't get too many things in the fire so I don't get overwhelmed. And I might just continue slicing and going to town and then worry about applesauce later, because really the only one that's probably gonna eat it is Ellie. So if it doesn't happen, I just go to Walmart and get applesauce. But I know I want stuff for crisps and pies and any other like desserty apple-y things. Okay, so for some reason I tend to stick the stem end into the prongs and get it as centered as you can, including, and not all stems are straight through to their blossom end or whatever. So sometimes I'll play with it a little bit. And then this is on a spiral crank, and right now it's not locked or anything. This lever is on a spring, so when you bring your apple more towards it, it'll move with the apple. I don't know if I'll be able to get a decent shot or not. And even the core, which is right here, can be very sharp, so just be careful. So I'm just gonna start spinning this. I guess I didn't need to have it all the way back, but it makes it easier putting the apple on. And then as we get going, See it went all the way through. I don't know if you can see very well. I just pull this whole thing off, and then I'll probably discard the stuff with the skin on it. Those are actually pretty good Macintosh. And this end, I'll give to the chickens. I put lemon juice in here, and that helps keep them from browning too much. And then the peel to the chicken, you could make your own, like, apple vinegar, but I probably won't mess with it. I probably won't even mess with the juice. So let me see if I can get you on another angle so you can see how this works. So I kind of have to work around you, so hopefully I don't bump you too much. Now that this is all the way through the core, there's this break here. You push it, lever it back, and then you put your next apple on. And then we just start spinning again. And then it's barely hitting the peeler. And you can see that peeler moving a little bit with the apple. And it's definitely not perfect, but it does make, this process quicker for at least me. Some people probably prefer to do it by hand. You do you. And see, it didn't really get the peels on here, so I'll just eat that or feed it to the chickens. These are actually really good Macintosh. They're sweeter than most. And I have no idea if the guy sprayed his tree or anything like that. That wasn't something that I was worried about or anything. They're just apples for a deal. So I'm gonna keep working and we'll reconvene in a bit. I do eventually cut the whole apple into like half, and that way if I cut it, if the core isn't straight through or anything, I can just cut it near one side of that core and kind of just pare out the little pieces that are part of the core that I don't want in my apple. I have managed to cut myself open at least once so far, but once I get them sliced and they're half moons, I just lay them on the tray. And I already have the dehydrator going with 2 trays. It doesn't take much to fill up my dehydrator. So I don't know if we'll just probably do 1 round and then they'll be gone in like a day. They don't last long because they're really good. I don't put anything on them. You could put like cinnamon, nutmeg if you want a little bit of that apple pie flavor. You could sprinkle some sugar if you wanted them sweeter. I don't. I think once they dry, they're gonna get even sweeter. The only thing is I really don't like the lemon juice flavor on there, but I have to do it in order for it to not turn to brown mush before it dries. That's the only problem I really have, I guess. And even then, it's not a problem I can deal, because regardless, like I said, they'll get eaten pretty quickly. The apples that are best for like pies and sauce and stuff like that tend to be a softer apple because they'll cook down. Not everybody likes a mushy pie, so you can definitely use a sturdier apple, more dense apple for that. But with these Macintosh, they're already turning a little brown, even in the lemon water, and they crumble. So as soon as I start like trying to cut them, sometimes you'll get little pieces and stuff. But I'm dripping all over, so I'm gonna go put this in the dehydrator. All right, second way, frozen. I don't do anything to them except I put them in that lemon water, put them in a bag, and then I freeze it. I'll probably fill this bag a bit more, but I need to move on to something else for a little bit. So I'm gonna throw these in the freezer. This probably wouldn't even fill a 9x13 pan for me because I like thick. I don't want some thin layer of apple crisp or something. It might fill a pie pan, but you can fill your bags however you want. You can do quarts, you can do gallons, you can lay them flat on a cookie sheet if you want them separated. I thaw them a little bit and then I just kind of break up the rest and throw it in whatever I'm making. So you do you. Also, if you don't put quite as much in, you can lay them more flat and they may thaw out a little faster, if that's your preference. But I will probably, like I said, fill this a bit more. This is only like a little over half a gallon bag. And then I do date it and write the name, because like my first several jobs were in restaurants, so it was first in, first out. So I tried to use the first ones that I make first, and then go through the dates as I use them up. I don't know, I'm just weird like that. Sometimes, of course, I'll grab the wrong one, but that's just how I was trained for jobs, and for some reason that was one of the things that stuck. Another day, of course, if you have been following my channel, I can't seem to do things in one day anymore. But the apples have dried. They won't last very long. They made about, I think I put one layer, I have 4 layers total, but one layer barely filled a bowl like that. It's a small cereal bowl. Somebody's been munching on them already. And then I did get that whole flat done the other day, but it's Colton's birthday. He loves apple crisp, and so we made him an apple crisp. Somebody wants on TV. Give him the stink eye. So we made an apple crisp. It's my mother-in-law's recipe, but it's a fairly common recipe in our area. Basically toss apples in some flour, sugar, and cinnamon, and then you take butter, flour, brown sugar, oatmeal, someone's leading me away, baking powder and soda, and put it on top, and you bake it for, you know, half hour, 45 minutes, depending on how dense your apples are or anything. And I see I have a mess, so I'm gonna get the apple crisp in the oven and clean up somebody's mess. Okay guys, I goofed, and I should have known better. When I got these apples, the guy said, this box is Windfall, and I said, oh really, what kind of variety is that? And he was like, well, I picked them off the ground after they fell from the tree. And I knew that. I knew that moment, but I didn't get them all done last weekend when I got them like I thought I was, and sure enough, the bruising from falling from the tree is showing, and so I am losing several of these. So I have a few minutes where I can work on them, get them in the freezer or a pot. I'm not sure which. I still haven't decided what I'm doing with all these. I need so much for the freezer, but I know I wanted applesauce, but I don't think we eat enough applesauce to warrant me putting it like that, even though it's more shelf stable than putting it in the freezer. But I need to get cracking on these because I'm gonna lose more the longer they sit. Okay, I think I've only worked like maybe 15-20 minutes, and I already have this giant let's see, it says 24 cups full of apples, and then of course I have this for the chickens, the scraps. I think I have to call it quits for tonight, but I'm hoping I got the majority of the worst ones. The Sweet 16 box, the apples themselves, I'm wondering how much I can actually salvage, because I had a couple of those smaller ones in with these, and by the time you took the core out and the peel, which really is not much, it's really not much. There's not much apple left, and if there's bad spots, and then I'm even taking more of the apple. So I'm gonna have to just kind of look at them. The flavor is really great, and I'm sure they should be bigger. So maybe it was just too much for the tree this year, but and they're a harder apple. I'm not sure they'd cook down as well. It's fine with me. I don't care if my apples are mushy or not in my crisp and pies. I just know my mom prefers them that way, but I think I can maybe get 2 gallons. We'll see. I think I'm going to call it here for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. maybe learn something, maybe not. Just watched my struggle and failures again. It seems like the last several videos I've had some epic fails. But real life, you know? So if there's anything you guys want to see, know more about, I'll do my best to do it. I have a couple ideas in mind, but I don't know what you guys are looking for unless you tell me. And YouTube tries to show me things that people are searching for, but it doesn't always, you know, work the same way. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me. Consider subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. It really helps our channel, and we'll see you again sometime. Thanks. Bye.